Welcome back to Ravens Today. I'm your host, Connor Gioffreda, giving you all the latest updates on anything and all things Ravens. Please make sure to subscribe to the channel, like the videos. Let's dive into the latest for you. So, I heard this term going around after this game, and I should have brought this up yesterday, but it's too funny to me and it's too true. So, the Ravens have a new nickname called Swiss Cheese. What does this mean? It's a phrase describing the Baltimore Ravens defense as being vulnerable, porous, and full of holes, like a slice of Swiss cheese. Makes complete and total sense. Same with the offensive line. It's a term used by fans to describe the offensive line as being weak, porous, and easily penetrated by opposing defenders, similar to how a block of Swiss cheese has many holes. Makes total sense. We are slices of Swiss cheese right now. Just full of holes and have no way to fill them. That's just how it is. I mean, it's the best way to describe them. I mean, no holes and no way to fill them. And coaches insisting that this is going to work. It's like we're a third of the way through the season. Got to start making some changes, whether it's with you or it's with the team. Things have to be. I've said it for the past couple of days, past couple of weeks. It's got to be you, coaches. You need to be the thing that needs to change. But it's like a funny thing. We go from one of the most feared defenses in the NFL, like we've had historically the best, in my opinion, the best defense in the NFL in the early 2000s, to a block of Swiss cheese. It's laughable at this point, man. But anyway, moving on. So apparently, Eric Williams of Fox Sports talked to a league source who believes the Ravens would be willing to trade Mark Andrews. Hear me out on this. If this is the case, if the Ravens are willing to do it, especially after his dropped pass last game, it's becoming like he's becoming inconsistent. Mind you, he has had good highlight plays, but again, we can't. It's just he's like Tucker last year. We just can't, like, we hold our breath every time he gets the ball passed to him. It's just, is he going to come down with it, or is he going to catch it, or is he going to come down with it and catch it, or is he going to bobble it and it's going to be dropped, and we're just going to have to make fun of this again. So, trade scenario for you guys. What if we trade Mark Andrews to the Chargers for Quentin Johnston? It helps us with our receiving core. We have Isaiah Likely ready to go. So, mind you, I get it. Isaiah Likely hasn't had, great plays that he has had in the past. But again, it's, second game in? Like, let's hang in there. We are completely fine in the tight end position without Mark Andrews. And having Quentin Johnston in there, who has multiple years of team control and still young, and besides, it's to the Chargers. Under Greg Roman's offense, Mark Andrews would thrive. We'd also get a young wide receiver, and I'm pretty sure Jim Harbaugh and John Harbaugh would definitely, they would collaborate and say, yeah, let's do it because, they're brothers. So why not? Why don't we start with the problems that we already have? Let's just address the fact that we can't rely on Mark Andrews anymore, and we need to start looking at other assets here. We also, may get a draft pick out of it. Who knows? Maybe a 6th or 7th round pick. We'll see if EDC cooks that up too. But again, Mark Andrews to the Chargers for Quentin Johnston. I'm all for it because I'm at a point where I'm like, do we just need a complete reset? And I think it starts with what I've been saying since we started this channel. What if we traded Mark Andrews? This would be a perfect way to do it because Mark Andrews would go to Greg Roman, where he thrived under the scheme, and we would get Quentin Johnston, another wide receiving back for Lamar Jackson when he comes back. But again, comment down below your thoughts on this. Moving on. So, guard on the table. Harbaugh mentioned that when he was asked about if there are going to be any changes to the offensive line, he says all is on the table. Are we finally getting some hope here? Are we really getting some hope? because I'm really, pun intended, hoping that this is the case. I am sick and tired of offensive line falling over or letting someone go. It's just every week. You can't, like, Derrick Henry's not going to be able to go off into the sunset with this offensive line. He's going to want to be like, this offensive line stinks. It stinks to high heaven. It's a dog poop that was just left out in the middle of the yard. That's what it is. Just saying. It's true. The only two people on the offensive line that I trust are Tyler Linderbaum, Roger Rosengard. I've said that many times. Don't trust the two guards, Voorhees and definitely not Falele, as I mentioned. And sorry, Ronnie Stanley has been inconsistent as well. So, how do we fix this? I've mentioned this name before. What if Ravens at a trade for Brock Hoffman in exchange for his 2026 7th round pick? Brockman, who has experience in center and in guard, could replace either one, Voorhees or Falele. I would hope that it's Falele, you know. But, mind you, he's coming off an injury, well, last year. But he's been active, and I think that this could work, where he has way more experience in the guard position than Falele does. And it'd just be a great asset to the Ravens to finally be able to protect Lamar Jackson's right side and open up a running hole for Derrick Henry on the right side. Because Lord knows, going to the right is out of line. Because you're going to have the only way that Derrick Henry can ever find a hole on the right-hand side is if he runs between Falele and Roger Rosengarten. But, Falele's fallen over on his butt, and Rosengarten has to pick up two of the slack. So what's the point? So get Hoffman in there. I would love this for the Ravens. I think that this would be great for the Ravens. In fact, I think that they would just be moving in the right direction because at this point, it's like, who cares about the chemistry off the field for this offensive line? It's like that one kid that in the elementary school yard that everyone was like, oh, I guess we have to invite him because we feel bad. That's who I think Daniel Falele is. Because it's like, we will defend you, we have to, but it's like you're carrying weight for us, It's like but we still have to defend you. It's because you're our teammate. That's in my opinion, that's who Daniel Falele is at this point. And getting rid of him or Voorhees, whichever one, because the Voorhees experiment, in my opinion, has also kind of ended, and we need to start looking at left guard positions. Replace Voorhees with Ben Cleveland, for God's sake, because at this point, any snap that, mind you, that Ben Cleveland has taken, he's actually looked pretty good on the left-hand side of Tyler Linderbaum. So there we go. Offensive line is revamped. We get resurgence there, and Lamar Jackson's better protected and doesn't get another hamstring injury or any injury whatsoever. Moving on, last part here, and this part's going to be a little bit difficult for me because I'm going to try and keep this without screaming my head off as much as possible because I'm at a point where it's like, if you're still on the Harbaugh train, love to talk with you about why. But so he was asked a question on accountability in the Ravens locker room. He said, end quote, "This is a very accountable team. This is a very serious-minded, determined team. They take accountability and they take it hard. There's a lot of scheme stuff to look at on defense and offense. You can't sit here and say all is lost. We just don't. We've done it before. We're going to work and try to make that happen." Harbaugh lost the locker room. Harbaugh 100% lost the locker room. The last two games have shown us fans that they're like, this Ravens team just quit. Like, they're just like, what do we do? They look lost. It's like giving up on a big test because you never studied for it. But in this case, the studying is done like by the coaches, where it's like, what do you want us to do? Like, this isn't working. We have to defend you to keep our jobs. That's how we make money. That's how we put food on the table. It's because we have to defend you because that is how we keep our jobs. And the fact that Harbaugh is pointing fingers at offense and defense, it's like, no. As head coach, you take accountability first. You are the head coach. You are the leader of that locker room. You are the leader of this Baltimore Ravens team. To the players, to the coaching staff, they look to you for guidance. and you're just pointing fingers at offense and defense. It's like, no. If any sensible head coach would say this, if it comes down to my team losing games, it's like, guys, it's on me. Like, I gotta make we as a team gotta make changes, but I know I have to. I want you guys to be successful. I want our team to be successful. So I'm going to start, like, it's on me that we lost that game, and I have nothing to say here. That is a true head coach, in my opinion. None of this, offense and defense. No. You as a head coach have to look at yourself in the mirror and say, that one was on me. I've never ever heard Harbaugh look at himself to the media and say, yeah, that was on me. That was my fault. I'm sorry to the guys, and we're gonna go back to the drawing board here. But that loss was on me. And never ever heard that from John Harbaugh ever. As in his tenure as head coach for the Baltimore Ravens, I've never ever heard him say, "This is on me. This is my fault. I'm sorry. This was all. I apologize on behalf of the fans that this I just did not coach a good game." Doesn't matter if it's offense's fault or defense's fault. You as the head coach are the leader of the locker room. You are the leader of the coaching staff, and everyone looks at you. When you don't take accountability, that's just you trying to put blame somewhere else, and that just loses the locker room entirely. This is why John Harbaugh needs to go. This is why, whether it's in the middle of the season at the bye, or whether it's, is that or they take the right directions here, and Bisciotti pressures him and says, "Listen, your seat is very, very hot. Either get rid of Zach or promote Chuck Pagano, or do something else, because this is not working. And if you can't turn this thing around, you're fired in the offseason." That to me is where we are right now. If you get obviously, I don't know if that's the case for sure, but in my opinion, as an owner of the team, and if I'm seeing my team with all the talent that they have and all of the success that they could be having, but we aren't, I'd be like, your seat's hot. You're the head coach, leader of the locker room, and you're blaming other things except yourself. You better get your crap together and start winning games again, even with your team injured. You better, but if you can't, you're fired. You're fired out in this offseason, and we're going to do a complete reset with the coaching staff. Comment down below what you think of my here. Thank you for tuning into Ravens Today. I'm your host, Connor Gioffreda. Again, subscribe to the channel, like the video. I will catch you all later.